So, good evening once again. This is Pradeepa Nagarajan, your host for this evening, joining you virtually and delighted to take you through today's session for our faculty development program. So, to begin with, on a positive and auspicious note, let us now join for Jain Mahamantra followed by Tamil Thai Valtu. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Meena, Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, to kindly deliver the welcome address and to introduce today's esteemed resource person. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I extend a very warm evening greeting to everyone present here today. On behalf of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, I am delighted to welcome you to all second day of the 10 days International Virtual Faculty Development Program on research methodology, statistical tools, and structural equation modeling. First and foremost, it's my privilege to warmly welcome our respected dignitaries, Secretary Sri Udan Kumar Sedia, Associate Secretary Sri Hemant Pichodia, Dean Dr. M. Ramya, Deputy Dean Dr. R. Sureka, and Director Dr. N. Venkataramanan, whose continuous guidance and support strengthen all our academic initiatives. A special word of appreciation to our department facilitator, Dr. M. Kaveri, for organizing this 10 days FDP and for her dedicated efforts in positioning our department as one of the best in the college. It is also my pleasure to warmly welcome today's speaker, Dr. P.S. Senthilkumar, Professor and Principal KR Arts and Science College and Advisor KR Group of Institutional Madurai. Sir, your presence is a privilege for us and we eagerly look forward to the knowledge and insight you will be sharing today. A warm welcome to you, sir. I also extend a warm welcome to all faculty participants from different institutions. Your presence and interest and great value to this learning experience. I sincerely thank everyone for joining us today. May this program provide valuable learning, meaningful insight, and truly beneficial experience for all. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our chief guest.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your warm and wonderful introduction. So, dear audience, we are honored to have with us Dr. P.S. Senthilkumar, Professor and Principal KR Group of Institution, Madurai, who will be handling today's session on problem identification. Sir, we are delighted to have you with us. The session is now yours.
Pradima? Pradima, ma'am?
Yes, Meena,
Yes,
Meena,
ma'am.
proceed,
Ah,
Meena. Meena,
yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
please proceed.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I am honored to introduce Dr. P.S. Senthilkumar, a respected academician, researcher, administrator, and yoga mentor whose lifelong dedication to education, student development, and the betterment of society continues to inspire us all. At present, he serves as professor and principal of KR Arts and Science College and advisor to the KR Group of Institution, Madurai. Dr. P.S. Senthilkumar began his teaching career in 1999, guided by a firm belief that teachers are the true architects of society, shaping responsible and enlightened citizen. With over 20 years of teaching experience and 8 years of administrative leadership as principal, he has held by positions such as principal, IQS coordinator, professor, and head of the department in several reputed institutions, consistently contributing to academic excellence, student growth, and institutional development. One of the most remarkable milestones in this career is his Guinness World Record in yoga, achieved through a continuous 57 hours demonstration without food or sleep at the University of Madras in 2017. His commitment to yoga is reflected in his extensive outreach. During the COVID 19 pandemic, he conducted continuous online yoga programs, guiding over 3,000 participants and providing strength and positively and emotional support during the challenging times. He has conducted yoga awareness training in over 100 government schools, promoting physical and mental well being among students and communities. Currently, he serves as the Chief Yoga Mentor and Training Officer for the region of Madurai, Tiruppuram, Paramakudi, and Sivagangai. Academically, he has made significant contributions through research presentation, participation in national, state level, and international seminars, workshops, and faculty development programs. His dedication has been recognized through honors such as the Sri Gaya Griva Award for the Best Researcher 2007 and the Best Academic Excellence Award 2020 from Star Finders Gandhi Enamaras College for Women, Madurai, reflecting his commitment to excellence, lifelong learning, and service to society. Dr. P.S. Indilkumar is a true example of discipline, dedication, and holistic educational person, balancing academic leadership with personal growth, community development, and human values. His work continues to inspire faculty, students, and the academic community across the state. With a great respect and administration, we are honored to have him as our chief guest today. Sir, we extend a warm welcome and eagerly look forward to your inspiring and enlightening address, sir.
Is it over, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, that was a good introduction. So we will now move on to the core part of today's program. So I'm pleased to welcome Dr. P.S. Sendil Kumar, Professor and Principal, KR Group of Institutions, Madurai, to lead us through a session on the day two topic, problem identification. So we are eager to learn from your insight. The platform is all yours.
Good evening, madam. Nice to hear, and I'm very happy to be here also. Learned professors, eminent scholars, and interested participants of this 10 days faculty development program. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for choosing a wonderful topic, the most important topic, the need-based one for this current era, especially, and during the vacation period too also. And also, I would like to thank especially the Meena madam for choosing me to speak on this dais. And moreover, the need for speaking for the research is more important. Being a teacher is a very gifted one. Everyone will not become a teacher unless otherwise they are dedicated, of course. They are the good soul, I feel. Until ultimately goal of a teacher is changing or molding our society, shape of the society. As the words of the Swami Vivekananda, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. So nowadays the teacher are okay to play multiple roles, like to monitor and to record keeper of the knack, and then motivator, facilitator, and then presenter, leader. So many roles to be play in the recent era, but not at the teacher, I think so. So teacher would like to play multiple roles. Beyond that, definitely in India, especially in the Tamil Nadu, we feel that beyond the teacher, we are the guru. So we guru or we are helping the society mold up. So of course, the role of the teacher are much important when compared to the other countries. Really, I'm happy and also surprised this time because for morning itself, every one of them are worked hardly and exhausted almost all the energy, and now they are listening this kind of the FDP at the evening, even though they have to spare the time with their family. Now, more than 100 participants are participating in this lovable and wonderful FDP. And a warm good evening to everyone. Now I would like to share my presentation and we shall discuss. Is it visible?
It's visible, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, identification of research problem. Yes, such a nice and a wonderful topic given to me. And when I am speaking this, seeing this kind of the words, I'm going to explain about two important words: identification of research problem. When I'm seeing this word, of course, I would like to share a few experience about my teacher, Dr. P. Murugesan, who has taken classes of management accounting. He explained the term management for 3 days, and one more day he explained about the accounting. Then the fourth day he started to take the classes for management accounting. So of course, we are the teachers. Definitely, we are able to explain a single word for more than a day. So with these few words, I would like to start my session in identification of research problem. So identification of research problem is the most important topic because choosing the right topic is more important. It is said that researcher is an activity with a focus on something. This focus is the topic or problem about which the researcher is conducted. There is rarely any literature available regarding the procedure for identifying a research problem. While there is no dearth of literature on how to conduct the research on a problem identification, this is mainly because of there is no specific or formal methodology available to help the process of identifying a research problem. It is the stage, it is a first stage, which is four most important stage that vision plays an important part. But this is helpful only to those who have research experience and do not have a person who enter the field of the research. A warm good evening. Before starting, let us reflect on one experience. How many of we think that methodology is easy, but I don't know the exactly to research? This confusion is actually about the research problem. A research problem is the heart of the study. It is tell us the issue we want to understand, what gap we want to fill, or what practical difficulty we want to solve through systematic inquiry. If the problem is not clear, the whole research becomes weak or directionless. All these give the person necessary training before embarking the research. Through few steps we have to identify which is most important place we are be here. So we need to understand this topic, which is the most important one. This is the first and most important stage which we have to select a right topic, right problem to success in our study and in our research, of course. So next one, we would like to see some of the important, very meaningful research problem, how we have to identify. In daily life, of course, we face the problems, low pass rate in the course, high dropout, and poor adoption of a new technology. In research, a problem is not just a complaint, actually. It is a clearly stated issue where something is not working well, or something important is not yet understood, or there is a gap between what is happening and what should be happening. So a research problem is a specific issue, difficulty or gap in knowledge that needs investigation and for which existing answers are not enough. It is always more specific than a broad topic. For example, we can see a problem, online learning, how we could identify the research problem. In this online learning, of course, if it is not clear, then definitely we will be failed to find a very good conclusion. Let me take an example, and under this topic consider, we can explain as first year students in rural colleges show low participation in synchronous online classes, and the reason are not clear understood. So in this contrast, it helps to participants see that a problem is focused, not just as a theme. So that's why it's most important we have to choose a right research problem. Why it is needed now? It guides to objective. It guides to the research questions. It helps to choose more methods also. It helps to save time and resources by avoiding the problems that are already solved and too vague also. It is increases chances of publication and funding because the reviewers first look at the clarity and the significance of the problem. So first quality of a good researcher is not software skills, but the ability to see and define a meaningful problem, of course. So the next one, why the identification is so important? The identification should be very, very important thing because we have to investigate the problem it is meaningful. So it also helps and guides the question objectives. Hypothesis also can be designed when we have the right identification of the problem. So vague topic definitely to be avoided. And the main sources of the research problem. What are the sources? Of course, main sources we have to identify and attend academic literature journals based and look for the limitations and future research. Previous research replications extend or resolve the contradictions, which helps to collect more data about to choose the right sources of the research problems. Professional practice and problem identifications. Professional practice issues just like the real work, teachers, nurses, managers, social environmental issues. Typical sources from various sources, like from the 5 academic sources, and we can get it. Academic literature, when we read the recent papers, we notice gap and limitations for future work suggestions also. Professional practice in the classroom is used to hospital procedures, industry backlogs, administrative challenges can be collected also. Social issue and policies, NEP implementations, digital divide, climate impacts, mental health concerns also. The previous research and the conflicts results to studies show opposition findings that conflicts itself becomes a problem to study. The stakeholders' feedback, that is also more important. From there we can identify and we can get more information about the research problem, of course. Inputs from the students and then colleagues and administrators, community members and industry patterns, and we We have to train our eyes and ears to notice patterns of difficulty, dissatisfaction, or unanswered questions in your context so that we can identify clearly various problems easily. And then it is another important focused area which we would like to start now, steps in identifying the research problem. What are the steps are available? So that we can understand clearly, there are 8 important steps how we have to identify the right problem, research problem. Identify a broader area of the interest. First, we have to pick up the right field, identifying, selecting the broad area. In this first stage, the researcher has to identify the broad area in which he would like to do research. This he can identify actually based on his interest and the competence. Interest or inclination should be matched with his competence so that he can do wonders. For example, if a person may be very keen to take a completely theoretical area or highly quantitative area, but he may not have the necessary skill to manage with the theoretical area of research or possess the requisite quantitative base to undertake the research. One should be honest to evaluate himself to decide whether he has the required competence to manage such research. Similarly, another tendency of often noticed many of the researchers in that feel that when they are initiating the first time the research work, they feel that they want to do a wonderful research, extraordinary findings to be identified in that research. We are not underestimate or we are not discouraging. At the same time, we have to identify our capabilities and also how the research really goes through. So that is a more important one. And then the second step is the preliminary explanations and literature scan. Yes, our eyes should be scanned thoroughly. What are the available materials and what are the debated and also what are the missing things or everything to be noticed, and we have to thoroughly read. And preliminary we have to get all those details and read again so that we can understand, yes, so what our problem is going on in the present era. And third and most important also, locate gap, inconsistencies and problems. Under this one, definitely look the gaps or issues while reading. Which group or contexts are not studied? So first thing we have to identify which groups or contexts are not studied and which are the findings contradictory. Where do authors say more research is needed? In practice, we are thinking that which is still not working. So all those to be identified and that can be utilized in our research. So these are the third important point. And the fourth one is narrow the topic by population, setting, variable or type. In this context, we need to understand something more. For example, assuming that the research areas is identified, the next step, the researchers should now narrow down a topic. In this stage, he might try the help of the guide actually. A guide with a good grasp of the subject, the experience can easily help the scholar. Further, the scholars should also read the books, dissertations, journals, reports, and seminars and papers relevant to all these areas of research. During this process, a scholar would be able to understand the research work already done in a particular area and avoid many duplications works also. This will also help the scholar to understand the approach of the earlier research in identifying the research problem and the methodology followed by them. Being thorough to all the sources of the information would also help the scholar to understand the bibliography as also the footnotes. While bibliography would give an indication about the sources available on a particular research topic, and footnotes or real resource which major researchable problems could emerge. Well-researched articles or the papers focused on a particular problem, and by the reading themselves, researcher would be able to cultivate the habit of focusing on a problem and then blow into major researchable area, and several research articles in professional journals also blow up at the later stage in the books. Instead of scholar laying hands on the whatever it is available, the guide can put the scholar on the right track him to select and read the books and journals relevant to the research areas identified, which is by the researcher. It is also very useful to read surveys of research published by the several agencies like Indian ICSSR also. And when we are discussing this kind of the topics, of course, and third point, yes, narrow down we have discussed, and then review context and background. Who affected severity and the current actions, and how serious is it? What happens if we ignore it? So these are the basic information which should be understand. Understand the context and justify importance. Collect basic data and observations or policy preferences to show that it will be most useful under this topic, under secretary. And also the sixth one, identify key variables or concepts. Yes, we have to identify clearly the main factor which are involved, for example, and teacher feedbacks, frequency and student motivations. This clarity later helps in framing the questions as well as the hypothesis. And thereafter, definitely we can formulate a statement which will help you to understand how we have to frame a research problem. There is a problem of any among in the places existing therefore are not fully effective, knowledge is limited about therefore it is necessary to investigate further. This is not a copying from the thesis but to help the beginners think clearly so that we can write a simple problem statement so that it will help you to create a research problem effectively. A well-researched problem identification is half done, of course. Finally, the eighth step, the take feedback and refine, encourage the discussion with the guides and the peers, practitioners. The problem often goes through multiple revisions before it becomes clear feasible. So these are the major important steps in identifying the research problem. For example, if we are identifying the research problem, we can see an example. To explain the above process, actually, let us consider the following example for example. Suppose a scholar is interested in taking up the research problem on unemployment. This is a very broad area. Now, in a study on unemployment, there are several aspects that could be considered actually. Rural employment or urban employment, voluntary unemployment or involuntary unemployment, and unemployment among the men or women, unemployment among the educated persons or illiterates, unemployment among the generalists or technicians, unemployment of the persons below 30 years or above 30 years, seasonal unemployment or cyclical unemployment, causes for unemployment or effects of the unemployment or solutions for the unemployment, or so on. Suppose the scholar selects the rural unemployment as his area, then he should consider whether he should study this on all basis or only on the state of the Tamil Nadu, whole India or for the Tamil Nadu. If the focus is only on the Tamil Nadu, then whether he should consider whether all the districts or only for the particular district. Suppose he decides to study rural unemployment in a district, then how he should identify the geographical region where he could undertake this study. Suppose he decided to take few villages in the selected district. He should identify the types of unemployment prevailing in these villages. He cannot take all the types of the unemployment, but select only one type. Suppose he selects unemployment among the artisans. Again, it may be necessary to specify the category of the artisans about the whom the study will be made. Suppose the scholar chooses the unemployment among the potters at his problem, then he has to find out. And the above clear example clearly indicates how from a very broad area the scholars narrow down to finally identify his research problem. It is not necessary that he should stop with his, he may still continue with his efforts to identify the specific aspects of the unemployment among the potters and then choose aspect as his research problem. From this example, it would be clear that unless a scholar spends considerable time on reading about unemployment, he would not succeed in narrowing down, leave alone the identification of the research problem. So these are all the major things which we have to be considered while selecting the research problem. So these are the steps in which is involved also. So what could be the characteristics of a good research? Criteria for the good research. So in this context, being a faculty, when we are going for the asking the students, of course, then we have to be follow this kind of checklists when they are following and when they are choosing the project also. Yes, whether the researchable data can be collected through accepted methods, surveys, experiments, interviews, documents, etc. And also we have to checklist another thing, significant solving or understanding. It gives benefit to the theory or policy or practice, not only to the researcher. And also third one, which is original in some ways, new population context, methods or perspective, even if core theme has been studied yearly, and then feasible, possible within the time, budget, and then data access, skills, and ethical rules should be followed while we are choosing the right topic. Clear and specific. We should avoid the vague words like etc. And it clearly states who, where, and what issue to be followed. Ethically acceptable, does not harm participants, respects concerns, and confidentiality. So these are the important things to be considered while we are selecting the research problem. So criteria of good research can be checklisted, this kind of the almost 7 important checklists to be followed. And when we are choosing the topic, then we can cross-check also. And then some practical and many cases also we can discuss. For example, one important case which we can be discussed now also, attitude towards social media. So it is a general one, and if it is a right topic, then definitely it will be helpful to find out the conclusions easily. So here, initial ideas, many students use social media, yes. From that observations, teachers report low attention in class. In literature, we can understand mixed findings on social media's effects. And we have to narrow down by study first-year students at one college. Finally, we can identify the problem high of task, use of the social media during the lectures, unclear effects of the academic activities. Repeat with the health or business examples for variety. So here we can take this topic in a clear way by pronouncing the following this topic. Attitudes of undergraduate science students towards the use of Instagram for collaborating learning at XYZ University. So if we choose this kind of the topic, clear topic, so that it will be useful when we start the research work is so the identification of the problem in the clear way it helps to almost half done works. And then what are the common mistakes which we are doing when we are preparing the research works? So the topic when it is too broad or narrow and using a theme and a little bit defined research problems and skipping the literature reviews problems which are already solved elsewhere. Picking problems only because they are fashionable and not relevant. Starting with the methods before clarifying the problems. These are the things which we are committing the mistakes when we are identifying the problems. To make it understandable, of course, treating a broad title as a problem, for example, a study of social media, without specifying the issue, group, or context. Copying a previous thesis topic which only mirror changes without checking for real gap or relevance. Choosing the fashionable topic, for example, AI, big data analysis, and then NEP without access to data or without a clear question, and then jumping the first two methods. I want to do experimental design before clarifying the real problem needs the investigation. You all have the conscious to in avoiding these mistakes while choosing the research problem, of course. And then what are the tips and strategies for the students when we are in the initial stage? Yes, start early. We have to start the problem early. And then keep a research journal, ideas, questions, findings to keep on reading every time. Review latest reviews regularly. Talk to the practitioners, the participants about the solved issues. Recheck the problem, the criteria, and that. This will help to identify the research topic easily. And then some of the popular online resources of sample data which are available in this context. You can just go through it and we can discuss some of the topics which become failure due to choosing the wrong identification of problems. Okay, so just we go through it, what all the online sources are available for the popular research data, Pew Research Centers, and then Gallup polls, and the CAGLI, and the UCI, Harvard Database, Google Datasets, and GitHub, NASDAQ Data Link, and then OpenML. These are the popular places which are available, various data. And then sources for recent and upcoming research problems also available under this site also. Google Scholar and ResearchGate and AirXfix, and Science Daily and Nature News, Policy, and then reports and NGO applications. From that we can get it. Okay, now we would like to discuss some of the topics which are become failure due to identifying the wrong identification of the problem. Just I would like to share a Word document which is will help you to understand. Yes, due to selection of the identification of the wrong problem, it becomes, for example, number one, a vague or broadly selected problem. If you are selecting the vague or broadly selected problem, it becomes a failure. For example, if the research problem too general and study the lack directions resulting in unfocused data and conclusion. For example, a study of students' behavior. It is a vague and a common topic. From that we can understand what are the reasons for failure. No specific aspect and then group or variable is identified leading to random data collection and findings that are not actionable. So these topics become failure because of choosing the vague or broadly stated problems. Then second one is you can see here missing focus on population or context. So researcher definitely he has to focus. Research conducted without a well-defined target populations or context often collects irrelevant data. For example, attitude towards social media. Here, the reason for failure is the study fails to specify the exact group, what kind of the group, college students or whether teachers or professionals, which of the groups we are going to follow. And context, the use of the education, business, etc. And then causing results that cannot be generalized and or unable to interpret it meaningfully. And then lack of scholarly contribution. Lack of scholarly contribution. A poorly identify the problem may not address a meaningful gap, making the research redundant. For example, impact of homework on learning. How it becomes failure. Just to see, if the expensive research exists and the study does not pinpoint new variable populations or contradictions, findings it simply repeats the existing work offering no new insights. So that's why we have to scholarly review every place so that we can understand easily. Lack of scholarly contribution also leads to become the failure of the research. And co-founding and misclassification errors. Poor initial problem identification leads to unclear variables and mistakes relationship. For example, relationship between exercise and mental health, of course. Reason for failure is fails to separate co-confounders and like age, diet. Without identifying these kind of variables, definitely we cannot complete this kind of research. Results in untrustworthy conclusions due to mixed factors not accounted for its study design. And here one more problem also you can see here. Unclear objectives leading to the poor design. Vague objectives which stem from the poor problem statements results in bad sampling or the collection it becomes. Understanding employee motivation. Here if the objectives are not aligned with one specific aspect, such as motivation in remote teams or versus in office, the data may not represent the true target group, causing the unreliable outcomes. So one more, some of the areas, some practical examples we can discuss. Next thing, ignoring the existing literature or gaps. If we ignore the existing, the projects initiated with analyzing the current literature may repeat the solved problems. For example, study of internet addictions among the teenagers. Here, if the literature already covers the main causes, effects, and the interventions, and researcher misses this kind of the problem identification, their work adds little value. So that's why we should be very careful. And biased or flawed data collections. Yes, of course, many of the researchers it may be happen. Faulty identification of the issues can lead to collecting wrong or misleading data, of course. Effectiveness of online survey in this lack of clear parameter or such as for which population or topic resulting in the unrepresentative sample and unreliable results definitely will lead to for the failure of the whole research. Here are some of the title and the main reason for the failures you can see. The study of the student behavior, it's too vague and lacks direction, attitude towards the social media and the impact of homework. These are the things which we discuss now actually. And then on some of the category also we have made it for commerce, business and social science research also we can see. Here under the commerce, vague or broadly stated problems, for example, a study on consumer satisfaction. Often you can see this kind of the title in many places. The reason for failure is no specific product segment or defined data is unfocused and the results lack relevance for any stakeholders. Missing focus on the geography or section. For example, here you see impact of the e-commerce on traditional retail. The reason for failure here is a failure to specify industry. For example, fashion industry or electronics, groceries or locality. Findings were too general and real world use were unable to find out easily. Undefined barriers, yes. Mobile payment adoptions did not identify target users who are urban or rural or non-actual challenges. So collected data had not actionable and patterns. In the business, some of the topics I could see unclear populations, for example, employee motivation in organizations, lacked clarity on the sector, which sector we are going to do, and job levels, and what factor of the motivations are being examined, and survey responses were too diverse. So, ill-defined objectives, impact of leadership style on performance, the reason for failures, no description of which leadership styles or how performance is measured, led to ambiguous conclusion. So, overly generally topic, market segmentation strategies. Reason for failure is did not focus on the product or customer categories, so recommendations were too non-specific of the marketing decisions. And then some more topic also. In the science, missing specifics on the variables, yes, it will lead to some of the failure of the project, incomplete context, lack of defined indicators, and then humanities also we can see some of the example topics. No target group specified. For example, attitude towards cultural heritage. Here, did not say define which group or culture making results implicable for policy or cultural programs, of course. So insufficiently defined platforms or events, role of social media in popular political mobilizations. Broad topic, no focus on the platform, event leading in the generic data. So these are all the vague literature focus also. So these are all the some of the topics which leads to failure because of choosing the wrong identification of the problems. So these are the some useful discussions which we made it now. So already it is showed that some of the popular online sources sample data also can be collected. Yes, we can note down. Also, I will share this PPT also to everyone of them so that you can understand. And then finally, in the conclusion, of course, if we invest time and thorough in identification a meaningful research problem, half of the research struggle is already solved. A clear focus and a significant problem naturally leads to better objectives, better methods, or more impactful outcomes. Our role as faculty and guides is to train students not only to do the research, but to see problems in their environment and define them in a scholarly way. So I hope this will be useful to you. And also I would like to share some of the few things which when I am selecting my research area, really I would like, it is my duty to the few things. For example, I would like to say a few words about my guide, Dr. K. Ramasamy, and whose guide is the main reason for nationalization of the banks in the 1969. His PhD research were submitted to the Prime Minister, and that was be accepted, and it becomes nationalization of the banks. And when he is very familiar in the marketing area. When I am choosing the topic, I am not familiar in this marketing area, but my guide openly he spoken with me, and he accepted me to do a research on the social security schemes like which are available in India. So it is automatically there is a discussion also who has to identify and who has to choose the topic, who has to choose the research topic that is more important one. The guide as well as the researcher, both of them, they have to mutually understood, and they have to select a good topic. And this is most important thing which we have to follow. And these are all the things I think it will be useful to you. And really, I'm happy for giving me an opportunity to discuss this identification of research problem, which are most important thing, and which will be most useful to the researcher when they are in the inception period. So because if we identify in the initial period, we can expect a very good research in the future. And finally, the one thing to be discussed now, some of them may think that who should suggest the problem, guide or scholar. In this context, a pertinent question to be answered in this whether a researcher himself should identify the research problem or the guide should suggest the problem. Both these alternatives have their own merits and limitations, but it should be noted that the role of the guide is only to train the researcher in the methodological aspects of the research, instead become a subordinate to researcher and attend to every aspect of the research. Further, the problem suggested by the guide may not be at all be familiar to the researcher in every time. But if it is accepted by him, then automatically it becomes supposed to them. So ultimately, the scholar is who is responsible and answerable for everything contained in the research findings. So depending on the guide would only make the research less original. So that's why be original, and it should be discussed both of them, and we have to finalize the research topics. So it is a wonderful topic to be chosen. And finally, one question to be answered, because yesterday I have attended our session, which is wonderfully placed and discussed by the eminent personality in the yesterday speaker. That time some of the questions raised, and those times it was discussed regarding the publications. I am sorry to say, we have to decide whether we want to focus on the publication or to the research. If we are really focused on the research, we don't want to bother about the publication. Automatically, we can definitely publish in the reputed journals and which are listed by the UGC CAP. So that's why. So these are the final conclusion I would like to share. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for being the person and listened everyone. I think more than 100 participants were there, and such a wonderful evening. All are discussed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, we must say thank you for you for such a clear and interesting session. So you have explained everything in a very simple and meaningful way, and I'm sure all our participants found it very, very useful. And I must say, after today's session on problem identification, I think we are officially call ourselves as problem detectives, at least at least in the research world, just for fun. Okay, so we truly
Yes.
appreciate the time and effort you have taken to guide us today. And as a special word of appreciation to our convener, Dr. M. Kaveri, for her dedicated effort in making today's session possible. So, dear audience, thank you. Audience, we will now open the floor for questions. So, participants may type their queries in the chat box or unmute themselves to raise questions. So, if any participants would like to ask questions or any doubts to be clarified, then you can post it in chat box or you can unmute yourself to post the questions.
Um, sir, this is Kaveri, Dr. Kaveri, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this wonderful and insightful session. And your explanation truly clarified many important aspects of identifying a research problem. Sir, I have a question. The question is in continuation of your final point. So, in broader areas like marketing or HR, we have hundred of theses already exist. It becomes extremely challenging for the scholar to identify a unique topic. So even when we try to combine these areas with AI, many researchers have already explored it. So in such a situation, what strategies can the scholars can use to identify a truly unique and meaningful research problem, sir?
Yes, of course, madam. There are already we have given the steps how to identify the research problem. Before that, if we want to give a unique problem, in general words, I can say, as the words of the Swami Vivekananda, purity, patience, perseverance are the three ways to success above all now. If we have a curiosity and inquisitiveness, interest in a particular area, definitely we can identify the problem. And when we are interested in a particular problem, automatically we used to read many things and many literature reviews and everything. Apart from that, we can understand and we can, and most of them, and also even I have quoted in a research paper also, many of them think that we want to do a unique one and extraordinary findings to be given. Yes, of course, that is right. But at the same time, we have to identify whether the topic or the particular chosen topic will be the feasible to complete the problem. So that's why this is more important thing. We have to find it is by experience alone the guide can understand, yes, this is the right topic and it can be completed. Actually, when I am speaking with my guide, actually he has given first day he has given the clear idea about my topic and he has given everything, what are the chapters to be comes when I am preparing the research. All those things were discussed in a single day. So he is able to identify the clear outcome what will be. So that's why we have to focus on the outcome instead of choosing the unique topic. Thank you, madam.
So, when we are going with the topic, no, so what you said, the topic has to be finalized only by the scholar, not by the
Yes, yes.
guide. But in most of the cases, the guide will decide the topic. So that is the thing happening actually.
Yes, of
So
course
in
it is
such a situation,
happening,
we
madam.
couldn't able to hesitate the thing, and we have to accept because it is said by the guide, and we have to obey their words and all. So in such
No,
a
madam.
situation,
Ultimately, sorry to interrupt.
okay.
Ultimately, we the researcher is responsible for all the findings. So we are in the position to answer all the questions when we are in the attending the Viva house examinations. So that's why it is better we have to discuss. Yes, of course, guide can be represented, or guide can be given, as well as the research can be selected. Both
Okay.
they have to discuss, so that
Okay.
we can find out the right and feasible topic which will come can be completed as a research one.
Okay. Sir, I have one more question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes, sir. So, which is so among the different systematic review methods, now the scholars are using the Prisma, the bibliometric analysis, and the science mapping. So, which is the most efficient approach for identifying the strong and clear research gaps, sir?
Yes. This can be done by using the latest technology which are available, technical aspects. Again, one more new method also available using recent one AI tool also developed by my student also, which will
Okay.
help you to identify clearly the systematic approach also available. I will share in the future also. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for accepting, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Definitely, I have to thank every one of them because in the evening time, of course, I know very well from the morning itself, we have worked a lot and exacted almost all the energy. And now we are ready to learn. Teachers always learn every time. So this is such a wonderful time. And I would like to congratulate the AMG College for organizing such a wonderful topic. Also, it is my wishes to visit your college also in future. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, sir.
Definitely, sir. With pleasure, we will welcome you. And sir, two participants have posted a question in chat box. I'll just read. Suhas Etel has posted as, can you explain how to determine which online source is most appropriate for collecting sample research data for different types of studies, such as surveys, case studies, or experiments?
Yes, of course. In this, the sources, I have given some of the online sources which are available. In that, that GitHub, which will be giving some kind of a new and most useful topic, which we can easily select. The GitHub, and then Kaggle is also giving these kind of things.
Okay, fine. And sir, one more participants.
Yes, can you explain how to determine online sources are most appropriate for the collecting sample research data for different types
Yeah.
of such as
And
surveys.
Abhinaya N has posted. Thank you,
Mhm.
sir. Can you tell me how we can identify the best source for the solution after we identify the problem? Also, can you suggest which source you
Yeah,
use
yeah,
more commonly?
yes, of course, yes. From this question, yeah, actually, we cannot specify a particular source because we have to use all kind of the sources. For example, review literature, and especially from the various research done, which is available in the online as well as the offline, and especially in the practical way, by experience, way we can understand clearly and we can collect more details. So the sources we have to, as a researcher, we should not deny and we should not rely on a support dependent on a particular source. We have to collect it from the various places.
That's true. Okay, sir. So question answer session is over, and now I request before we finish, we would love to take a group photo with all our participants. So may I kindly request everyone to turn on their camera for just a few seconds. We want to capture this moment as part of our day two memories. So I request all the participants to turn on their camera.
Participants, please turn on your camera, please.
Yes, ma'am.
ஆன் பண்றது இதோ இது இல்லக்கா
It should be a smiling camera.
ஒரு கேமராவே எனக்கு
All the
தெரியாது.
participants, please turn on your camera. Just 5 seconds. Please turn on your cameras. So please smile. Everyone smile now.
Okay, Pradeepa.
Is it over? Okay, thank you for all your cooperation and beautiful smiles. And now we kindly request all the participants to fill out the feedback form shared in the chat box. And your feedback is very, very important to us, and we to help you to receive e-certificate. So please take time to complete it before leaving the session. And at this moment, I would like to call upon Ms. Meena, Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, to present vote of thanks. Ma'am, please proceed.
Yes, ma'am. It is my privilege on behalf of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship to deliver the vote of thanks for the second day of our 10-day International Virtual Faculty Development Program on Research Methodology, Statistical Tools, and Structural Equation Model. First, I would like to express our deep gratitude to our esteemed dignitaries, Secretary Sri Udan Kumar Chodia, Associate Secretary Sri Hemant P. Chodia, Dean Dr. M.M. Ramya, Deputy Dean Dr. R. Sureka, Director Dr. N. Venkataramanan, and facilitator Dr. M. Kaveri, whose support and faith continue to strengthen all our academic efforts. A special and heartfelt word of appreciation to today's distinguished speaker, Dr. P.S. Senthilkumar. Sir, your session on problem identification was highly informative and perfectly structured. You clearly explained a topic that is often challenging for many researchers with remarkable clarity, depth, and practical insight, enabling every participant to understand with confidence. The real time examples you shared demonstrated how identifying the right research problem forms the foundation of meaningful and impactful research. The way you connected theoretical concept with practical application has significantly enhanced our understanding and motivated us to approach our research with greater focus, clarity, and purpose. We sincerely thank Dr. B. Karthikeyan for his dedicated technical support that made each session run smoothly, and Dr. N. Pradeepa for her lively comparing that brightened our program. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone present for their participation and support. I also extend my sincere thanks to all the faculty, participants from various institutions. Your active participation, meaningful questions, and enthusiasm have made this FDP more valuable and impactful each day. Thank you all.
Th- Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So, all right, dear participants, we have come to the end of today's session. So, thank you all for your time, your energy, and your wonderful participation. So, it was a pleasure hosting the session for you. And this is Pradeepa Nagarajan signing off with a smile. See you all tomorrow at 6 p.m., not 6 p.m., it's 5:45 p.m. for another interesting FDP session. Till then, have a pleasant evening. Thank you, everyone. Let me have.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Ma'am, good evening.
Ma'am, link is not open. Can you share the WhatsApp?